Hi boys and girls, welcome back to another STEAM lesson. We are still talking all about water. The last time we were together, we talked about conserving water and why it's so important to do that. And we read the book, The Water Princess. If you remember, the Water Princess and her mom walk to a big watering hole or well, and they collect water. And the water is really dirty. It looks a lot like this. This is actually water that I collected from a pond that's close to our house. So if you have any standing water around you, a pond, or even just like a puddle outside your house and you collected the water, it would probably look a lot like this. It's not clear, there's dirt in it, but the thing is that's where our water comes from. Our water comes from lakes, reservoirs, which are big areas that can collect water. If you remember the last week, we talked about runoff. So they collect water from runoff after it rains. We also get water from wells. All of this water is going to be in places where when we collect it, it's going to look a lot like this. So what we're talking about today is how do we get our water from looking like this to being good for us to drink. Now, one thing I want to say that's very important is we're going to talk about how we can clean water, but this is just a practice for us. So we're just kind of seeing the process. No matter what water you clean today, I do not want you to drink it. So if you collect water from outside and you practice filtering it, which is what we're going to do in a minute, I don't want you to drink that water. If you remember in our story, Gigi's mom boiled the water that they collected, and that killed a lot of germs and things that could make you sick that you can't see. So it's really important that even if you filter your water and it looks really good, that we don't drink it, okay? So we're gonna practice filtering. I use that word a lot, and you might already know what that word means, but I wanna show you an example. So this is just some netting, and if I were to drop something through this netting, if it were small enough to get through these holes, it would drop to the table. But if it was bigger, this would catch it. That's what a filter does. So if I were to put some rocks on here, it would catch rocks. But what you didn't see is there were a couple of really tiny ones that still made it through the hole. So this filtered out the big rocks, but the little rocks were still able to make it through. Okay, so I want you to think about some things that you might have in your house that could work as a filter. So probably the holes in this are too big to work for filtering water, but you're gonna collect some water that is not suitable for drinking. If you don't have a place that you can collect it that's close to your house, you can make your own. So just get some water from the sink and then maybe sweep your floor for your mom and put some of that dust in here. And then you'll have some water that we can use for this experiment. Remember, we're never going to drink this water. This is just for a test. So I want you to think about some things that you might have in your house that you could use as a filter. So maybe like a paper towel, a coffee filter like this one, maybe some cloth, anything that you can think of. And I want you to try filtering some water. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the water that you've collected and you're gonna pour it through the filter and see what it looks like on the other side. So once you've tried that out, you can come back and watch the rest of the video. So I've drawn a diagram here that shows an example of a way that you can filter water. So you can see up here we have dirty water that we're pouring into a cup that's actually set into another cup. And in this cup we have sand and we have rocks. So those are natural materials that will filter water. So when the water goes through there, it helps kind of weed out all of the things that we don't want, like little pieces of dirt or dust, and then the water comes out cleaner on the other side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a coffee filter and I am going to put it inside this water bottle. So this is a water bottle that was whole and I cut it in half. So this is going to be where our clean water goes, and then our dirty water is gonna filter through here, and we're gonna try and remove some of this yucky stuff that's in here. So I'm going to put two types of things into my filter. The first one is sand. So I'm thinking I want it to first remove the bigger pieces. So I'm gonna have the rocks on the top, and then I want it to remove anything that's tiny. So then I have the sand on the bottom. And then you can see this coffee filter compared to this other example. You can't see little holes in this. Water can still make it through, but that's about it. So hopefully this will help to filter out as much of the things that we don't want in our water as we can. So I'm gonna take this sand and I'm gonna put it in the bottom here. And then I'm gonna get some rocks, and see they're all different sizes. So it's really like gravel. And I'm gonna put a good layer of rocks on top of here. I want it to have to go through a lot of things before it filters to the bottom. So then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it inside my container here, and you can see that there are a layer of rocks, and then we know there's a layer of sand. So now I'm gonna put it here, and then I'm gonna pour our water through, and we're gonna see what it looks like on the bottom. So if you look, you can see there's grass in there, there's all sorts of junk in there. So I'm gonna pour it. Do you see how it's taking its time to go to the bottom? It has to make it through all those little pieces, and it's just dripping down to the bottom here. So you can see that the color still isn't clean, but I don't see a single piece of dirt or dust or grass coming through there. So if you look at the drips that are coming out, those drips are completely clear, but when you have all those clear drips together, it still shows that the color is not something we would want to drink. So comparatively, this one looks a lot dirtier than the other one. Again, we would not want to drink this water, but this is an example of how you can filter out the impurities, and it's actually one resource that they use in water treatment facilities, which is who makes our water clean to drink. They put things in the water to help kill all of the germs and the things that would make us sick, and we obviously don't have those. So that's one reason that our water still doesn't look exactly as clear as it would coming out of the sink, and we don't want to drink it. But I would say that this is looking a lot better than this one. So another challenge, if you want to try it for this video, is to collect some sand and some rocks and use a coffee filter to try and filter out your water. Whether it's this challenge or trying before with things that you found around your house, I would love to hear how it went. Make sure you share that with your teachers, pictures, or videos, and then I will get to see them. But that is it for now. We'll see you next time.